Hey everyone, back tuning in to today's video. We're going to have a look at when it's 10 days in today's video. A bit of uncertainty about what's happening next week now. I'll show you the charts in a second, but there is a bit of a discrepancy between the GFS and the ECM this morning for how things evolve into the second half of next week. Might turn very unsettled again, but it's just a suggestion from the ECM that we might keep high pressure close to the country throughout much of next week. So we'll have a look at the charts in a second. We'll start off by having a look at the severe weather warnings at the UK Met Office. Don't often show you these, but they're always useful to check out to see what's going on. And we have got some weather warnings issued today for parts of England and Wales, so heavy rain, heavy showers and thunderstorms. So if things do blow up this afternoon, we might, just might, update Stormwatch for the first time this spring and summer season. But it just depends whether the atmosphere does blow its top. Well, before I get on with that, just to mention the ads, there's links to articles on all of the pages. Have a browse through widgets and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. Thanks so much for doing that. There's video ads on most of the pages which open up in content which from the close back up again, and it's helping to pay for gasweathernews.com. So this is the warnings page from the UK Met Office. You can get to this from Gasweathernews either on the links page, or if you haven't checked out our homepage, we do have a weather alert section on our homepage. I don't issue severe weather warnings and public advisories, so I don't advise you on your safety. For that, you do need to go to the UK Met Office. But we do have a little weather alert section on the homepage, just for a bit of a heads up about what's happening on a day-by-day basis. But we do advise you to click through to the weather warnings at the UK Met Office if you need advice about your safety or about weather conditions. So it's always worth checking out the weather warnings at UK Met Office to see what's going on. And as I said, we have got some warnings issued for today for showers and thunderstorms, and it's really through central parts of England and Wales, this area that's highlighted just here. So parts of Wales, the Midlands, Eastern England, Lincolnshire, East Anglia, that's the sort of areas that we're looking at for the risk of some heavy downpours this afternoon. The Met Office is advising there could be up to 10 millimetres of rain in a fairly short period, just in a few minutes in some of these downpours. But they will be isolated, they will be hit and miss, so not everywhere will get them. I mean, you can expect hail and thunder to be in with those downpours as well. So it could be quite a lively afternoon in one or two places this afternoon. But do keep in mind that they're showers. It's not big convective thunderstorms like we get in the summer when it gets hot. It's sort of isolated showers and downpours. So one of those afternoons where somewhere will get very wet within 10 minutes and just a mile or two down the road you could stay completely dry. It's not those huge thunderstorms that we get in the summer that span sort of 40-50 mile supercell type storms. You need real heat and humidity to generate those big storms, but there will be some big downpours around today, albeit quite isolated. So as I say, if things do blow up this afternoon, we might update Stormwatch for the first time this season. When these storms die out this evening, we're watching some rain coming up from the south. That could give us quite a wet day tomorrow. Quite an interesting day coming up tomorrow, because we're going to have two weather fronts. We've got a weather front just here. I've got another weather front up here. Behind this weather front in the north, there's actually a lot of cold air coming south. So your eyes don't deceive you. That is snow being predicted there across central northern parts of Scotland. Those pink splodges just indicating some wintry conditions at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow over Scottish mountains. Further south, this rain looks quite heavy and persistent again through central and southern parts of England. As we go through the day tomorrow, we find that weather front coming down from the north, introducing colder air to Scotland, so don't be surprised if you see some wintry showers across Scotland tomorrow. Even down to low levels, you might see some hail and sleet, and over the hills there could be some quite significant wintry conditions. Actually, if we go back to the weather warnings, there is an early warning issued for Scotland tomorrow for snow. Look at that, we've got the snow symbols there for central northern Scotland, covering Orkney, Shetland, Highlands, Grampian and central Tayside and Fife. So central northern Scotland does actually have a warning tomorrow for the risk of some snow showers coming through. This rain across central England, so this at midday tomorrow, we see some quite heavy rain being indicated there for East Anglia, the East Midlands, central, southern, southeastern England, and that goes on into tomorrow afternoon as well. This is 6 o'clock in the evening. Again, quite a bit of rain there through central parts of the country, with the colder air digging into the north with wintry showers up there. So I think tomorrow could be quite wet across parts of England, Wales. Not today's sort of heavy showery conditions, heavy showers and isolated storms. It's going to be more persistent rain, I think, across England and Wales tomorrow, with colder air digging into Scotland, bringing the risk of snow. Those snow showers across central northern Scotland do look rather significant, certainly for the time of the year. So some really quite interesting weather around today. Going to be a bit around over the next couple of days, today and tomorrow. Going to be some really quite big temperature contrasts as well. So we're going to be up to around 16 or 17 today. By Saturday, though, we're going to be down in just single figures across the whole country as these cold northerly winds sort of win the battle. So, yeah, some quite interesting weather coming up over the next day or two. Right, let's get on with the 8 to 10 day forecast. These are 500 millibar heights broken down into, no, not broken down into week periods, what I'm talking about. These are the 500 millibar height anomalies for the next week to 10 days. And this is going to take us up to around the 24th of April. So we're going to go more or less to the last week of the month with this. We've got the ECMWF here on the top and the GFS is on the bottom. We'll have a look at the GFS in a second. 500 millibars is an area in the atmosphere, high pressure, low pressure, being moved around by a jet stream running above. So these are actually temperatures at 500 millibars, and then it extrapolates to high pressure, low pressure. Red is, and orange is high pressure, blue is low pressure. So the ECMWF is placing a trough of low pressure to our northeast within the 8 to 10 day time frame, while the ridge is generally centred out to the west of the country, which means that the jet stream goes something like that. The most of the conditions are away to the east and the northeast of us, with this ridge giving us some protection. There may be some bands of rain coming through at times with this, but overall, that ridge does give us some protection from the Atlantic. Whereas the GFS is a little bit similar, so this is a little bit different. This is the GFS, and we've got this trough of low pressure within the 500 millibar flow, almost over the top of the country. It's quite a weak one, but it is a fairly significant difference. The jet stream is much flatter here, coming through the country. So the GFS is more unsettled, really, and the ECMWF is hinting that high pressure could keep us relatively well protected throughout much of next week. These are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles, very up and down over the next couple of weeks. The red line here is the 30-year temperature average, so we're a little bit above average at the moment. We're going to go cooler than average over weekend, significantly so. We're down to -5 at 850 millibars. This is for London, so be even colder in the north. That's really quite significantly cold, actually, just for a day or two over the weekend. You really will feel that. For the time of year, anyway, it wouldn't be significantly cold if it was January, of course, but for April, middle of April, that is really quite a plunge in the temperature. However, next week, the temperatures recover again, and we go above average, significantly so, by the second half of next week, perhaps. And then after that, the trend generally seems to be down, going cooler as we go through into the final week of the month. Remember, dates are along the bottom of the chart. So very much up and down with the temperatures. And I would think when you average all this out, we probably don't deviate too far from the average as we get through towards the end of the month. But as I say, really up and down with those temperatures there. In terms of precipitation, well, we've got rainfall coming up over the next day or so. Quite wet actually down in the south tomorrow, as we was already looking at. Then it goes drier over weekend and start of next week. Then it looks like unsettled conditions return in the second half of next week. However, the ECMWF is not really seeing that return to more unsettled conditions in the second half of next week. Temperature anomalies for the next week, the 14th of April through to 22nd, come out generally cooler than average. So although I thought that this is perhaps sort of average temperatures really, in terms of surface temperatures anyway, it turns out that it's a little bit cooler than average, on average, for the coming week. So temperature anomalies from the 14th to 22nd of April coming out below average. The rainfall anomaly, that comes out generally average to above average Interestingly, it's a bit wetter than average in the east and a bit drier than average in the northwest. You don't often see that, but there we go. The south and east generally wetter than the north and the west for the coming week. These are the generic charts then, and we start next week generally under an anticyclonic influence. We will be bringing a westerly wind and some showery rain to northern Scotland, I think, but overall high pressure should keep us mostly dry into the start of next week. That stays with us into Tuesday, but then on Wednesday that high pressure starts to drift away to the east. We pull the winds up from the south, so that's why the temperatures are lifting up. Just here, this rise in the temperature on this ensemble chart is happening because the winds are turning into the south, but at the same time low pressure is coming back in from the southwest. Although the temperatures lift up briefly around Wednesday, it probably turns unsettled with outbreaks of rain moving in from the south and west. By the time we get through to Thursday, this is Thursday the 22nd of April, low pressure is firmly in then across the country, turning things much more unsettled, and that stays with us then as we go through up to day 10. This is Friday the 22nd, this is Saturday 23rd, and this is Sunday the 24th of April. It stays generally unsettled with bouts of rain coming in off the Atlantic. Now, over the past couple of days, we have been looking at the suggestion that this weekend, the 23rd, 24th of April, might turn winds into the north. It looks like the GFS is backing off from that a little bit, although notice heights are still being predicted to rise across Greenland, and it's not a million miles away actually from allowing some cold air to dig down from the north. So although the operational GFS runs are sort of backing off this a little bit over the last day or so, don't rule out the chance as we get through to around the last week of April we might pull down quite a cold northerly flow. Very changeable period coming up with up and down temperatures on the way. The ECMWF is different though. We start next week very similar with high pressure ridging through the country away from the north. So it should be mostly settled Monday and Tuesday. But what the ECMWF does is builds that ridge over the country and keeps it going into the middle of the week. So at this point, the GFS was already starting to break down this ridge of high pressure. The ECMWF wants to keep that centred over the country. And it just stays with us really throughout next week. Towards Friday, we might start to bring some thundery showers into the far south. But overall, high pressure remains in control throughout next week on this particular run of the ECMWF. It does pull out to the west and the northwest, so this is day 10, Sunday the 24th of April, centred to west, but it's protecting us from the rain-bearing systems, but it has allowed the wind to go into the north and the northeast. Remember, around high pressure, the flow rotates that way in a clockwise direction. So we're going to find, if this comes off, that the winds go into the north. We are protected from the rain-bearing systems from the Atlantic, so it's not unsettled like the GFS, but it is pretty cold. And if you have a look at the upper air temperatures and see what they're doing, we see that -5 isotherm is coming down across the whole of the country. So that is cold enough to be producing snow showers for Scotland and North East England, and probably some quite damaging overnight frost. So the ECM is still going for that idea of a cold snap around the 23rd, 24th of April, the last weekend of the month, I think that is. It's still going for that idea. The GFS less so, and it's much more unsettled. So we have got some uncertainty about what's happening next week. I think it's certainly going to start off with high pressure, given a lot of dry weather. So around Wednesday onwards, that the uncertainty creeps in. So less than a week away. It may stay settled, it may turn unsettled, and we've got to watch out for this cold snap possibly coming down around the 23rd, 24th of April. We'll be keeping you updated, of course. And as I say, if things do blow up across parts of England and Wales this afternoon, we might update Stormwatch for the first time this year. It just depends whether it comes together or not, though. So just watch your space on that. All right, that's all for now. It's JMA Frey tomorrow looking at the weather month ahead. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.